Okay, well, it's been a little while since I've done a video on cosmology and physics and atomic structure and formation. So I wanted to go over uh, kind of the uh, story that I went through to figure out a new kind of idea for gravity. My idea was that the light from lightning and the light from fire don't line up with quantum mechanic orbital spectrum jumps. Like light that comes in as a wave or whatever they call it, a particle, and hits an atom and causes an orbital jump, that doesn't apply correctly to the light from lightning, the spectra from lightning, and the spectra from fire or plasma. The orbital jumps from quantum mechanics can't explain this. And what I did was the first thing I wanted to investigate was if there was a maximum brightness to materials. And what I found out when studying the sun's corona was that the atoms in the corona seem to have a brightness peak where they stop getting brighter, and then the temperature of them all of a sudden spikes. So this showed that there was a maximum temperature or a maximum brightness, excuse me, that hydrogen atoms could be at. And I decided to take the brightness of the CMB, the cosmic background radiation, and reverse time to see how far back in time it would take for hydrogen or for the cosmos itself to be at its full maximum brightness, the brightness of hydrogen. And it turns out that that period was 50,000 to 60,000 years after the Big Bang, right during atomic formation, right when hydrogen was being formed. So it kind of showed that right when the max brightness of hydrogen was reached in the early universe and it finally went below that level, that's when atomic formation occurred. Okay? So atomic formation occurred at 50,000 to 60,000 years after the Big Bang. And so you can imagine that there was like little like like proton like volumes like these aren't all up to scale of size, but imagine this whole entire volume of the universe is filled with a bunch of little protons everywhere that just were able to form because of the brightness level of the cosmos finally got to a low enough state where these particles could form. Now, what my theory is during the time of these formation of these tiny volumes is they trapped within their little shells the space tension that the pressure of space had during that time, 50,000 to 60,000 years after the Big Bang. So as the universe expanded and got bigger, per se, the tension inside the protons, the spatial tension that was captured inside the volumes of the early protons that were made during atomic formation, right when that brightness ceiling level was hit and it started to drop below that, that's when these protons took form, captured that space tension, that the pressure that space had during the 50,000, 60,000 year atomic formation period. And as space forms today, we have the force is gravity from that space tension that's inside all protons. All these protons were made into heavier elements over time, and as all those elements stack up, the gravity increases. So the gravity follows the cores of mass, not the gas that's in space. And with this kind of structure, I did a bunch of tests, a bunch of simulation tests, and it turns out that the tension, if it's scaled correctly inside protons in the early universe during the time of atomic formation, it explains gravity for galaxy curves, for the reasons why the speeds flatten, the curve flattens for star speeds around galaxies. It explains the cosmic web at the largest scales and explains gravity at the smallest scales as well, because this is an atomic origin for the source of gravity, which is space tension trapped inside protons of the first hydrogen atoms that were created during atomic formation. And the differential between the space tension pressure that was at that time and the space pressure tension we have today, that differential is what causes the gravity strength that we see in all atoms today. And that's the basis of my theory that I wanted to share.